Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something pretty specific, but really important for collectors, preserving vintage Tamiya RC models.
Yeah, these aren't just, old toys. They're hobby-grade machines. Complex.
Exactly, and they have these unique weaknesses. So our goal today is to really cut through the noise and find the best ways, the definitive strategies for keeping them safe long-term based on the sources you've provided.
Okay.
So let's unpack this. What are the big threats, the things we really need to worry about to keep these models, well, pristine?
Well, fundamentally, it boils down to two main things. You've got mechanical stress that's sort of constant, predictable pressure.
Right.
And then you've got environmental factors. These are more variable, but honestly, they can be catastrophic if you're not careful.
Yeah.
A good plan needs to hit both.
Okay, let's start with mechanical stress. And the surprising thing here, I think, is just gravity, its own weight. It's maybe the most underestimated threat, isn't it?
It really is. It's always there, pulling down.
Take the tires, for example. Flat spotting. Those vintage Tamiya tires, they're often quite soft rubber.
Very soft, yeah. Like old car tires, pre-bias ply almost.
And they are super susceptible to getting flat spots. Cold weather makes it worse, speeds it up. And once you've got a flat spot, it's usually there for good. It's pretty much a guarantee if you just leave the car sitting on its wheels.
Absolutely. It's a certainty.
Yeah.
And tied right into that is suspension sag.
Ah, yeah.
That constant compression, it just fatigues the springs over time. They don't bounce back fully.
So the whole car sits lower.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Permanently lower ride height. It messes up the whole suspension geometry. I mean, one hobbyist in the sources mentioned seeing noticeable sag in just 6 months.
Wow, 6 months. Okay.
So the core idea, the principle for protecting against this is pretty clear.
You gotta lift it up.
You got it. The best way is to lift the chassis high enough so the suspension arms can fully droop, let everything hang free. Takes the load off the springs, off the tires.
Makes sense. Okay, so beyond gravity, what else? What are the sort of silent destroyers out there?
Ooh, UV radiation is a big one, a huge one.
The sun, basically. Or even indoor lights sometimes.
Yeah, any UV source. It yellows those classic white Tamiya plastics, the
Oh, yeah, that iconic look.
fades the colors, the decals, and it just wrecks rubber over time, makes it brittle. Irreversible damage.
Okay, UV. What else in the environment?
Well, then you've got this triad of trouble. Humidity, temperature swings, and dust.
Right. The usual suspects for collectibles.
Exactly. Humidity corrodes metal parts, can cause mold, even warp plastic or wood if there are any components.
And temperature changes.
Big swings can crack paint, warp plastics again, and break down lubricants inside gearboxes or shocks.
And dust is just gritty, gets everywhere.
It's abrasive, gets into moving parts, contaminates things. And, the places people often think are safe, basements, attics, garages.
Yeah,
They're often the worst for stable temps and humidity.
that's a good point. But it's kind of surprising, even a brand new kit, still sealed in the box, isn't totally immune, is it?
That's a fascinating point from the sources, yeah. Even NIB new in-box kits aren't perfectly safe. You can have, damper oil leaking out of the shocks inside the plastic bags.
No way.
Or ceramic grease escaping.
Yeah.
And that stuff can just ruin the manuals, the decal sheets. Absolute nightmare for a collector.
And for nitro models, the fuel.
Oh, yeah. If there's any residual fuel left in the tank or lines, it's super corrosive. It'll eat away at fuel lines, seals, even engine parts over time.
Okay, so knowing all these threats, gravity, UV, humidity, leaks, what do you, the collector, actually do before putting a model away? Preparation seems
Meticulous preparation. It's everything. First step, an archival clean.
meaning.
Really thorough, get into all the nooks and crannies. But the absolute critical part here is making sure it is completely dry afterwards. Bone dry.
Right. Otherwise, you're just inviting mold or corrosion.
Precisely. Then power sources. Get them out. All batteries removed.
Especially lipos, right? Those need careful handling.
Definitely. Lithium polymer batteries need to be discharged to a storage voltage, usually around 3.8 to 3.85 volts per cell, and then kept in a fire-resistant bag. Never store them fully charged or empty.
And for the nitro engines.
Drain all the fuel completely. Then run the engine dry for a few seconds just to clear the lines. And finally, add a couple of drops of after-run oil into the carburetor and glow plug hole. Turn the engine over a bit to distribute it. That protects the internals from corrosion.
Okay. Cleaned, dried, power out. What about the actual, mechanical bits and materials?
Good point. Lubricate moving parts, suspension pivots, gears if accessible. Some serious collectors even rebuild the shocks before storage.
Why rebuild them?
Well, the oil inside can degrade or leak over long periods, contaminating other parts, and the rubber seals can perish. It's preventative maintenance, really.
And the tires, we know they flat spot.
The absolute gold standard for tire care. Take them off the model entirely.
Really? Off the wheels.
Off the vehicle, I mean. Clean them gently, then store them separately in airtight bags. Keep them away from UV light and ozone sources, like electric motors.
Okay, that's thorough prep. So the model's ready. Now, how do you actually store it? Let's get into the options from best to maybe worst.
Right, the storage hierarchy. So the absolute peak, the gold standard for preservation, it's an enclosed display case.
But not just any case.
No, key features. It needs to filter out UV light. And crucially, inside, the model must be on a chassis supporting stand, not resting on its wheels.
Got it. Stand supports the main body.
Exactly. And this whole setup should be in a climate-controlled room, stable temperature, stable humidity. This is the only way to really protect against everything we've talked about. It's museum quality.
Okay, museum quality. What's the next best thing if that's not feasible?
Still excellent, but, exposed would be using a chassis supporting stand again, but just on an open wall mount or a shelf.
The same principles support the chassis, wheels hanging free.
Correct. This prevents the mechanical issues, the flat spots, the sag. But it offers zero protection from UV, dust, humidity swings. So the room itself needs to be clean, dark, and stable.
Right. What about those wall mounts that hold the car by its tires? You see those sometimes.
Yeah, those are popular. They look cool, but they're considered flawed for long-term archival storage.
Why is that?
Because resting the car's weight on the tires, especially hanging, puts this unnatural stretching or tensile stress on the wheels, the axles, the suspension components. It's not what they were designed for continuously. Short term, may be okay for display, but not ideal for years.
Interesting. Okay, now the big one. Storing the built model back in its original Tamiya box. Lots of people do that.
Ah, the box dilemma. Yes. It's common because the boxes themselves are often valuable collector's items.
Right, the box art is iconic.
But here's the paradox. Storing a built model inside that box is actually one of the worst things you can do mechanically. It's usually resting on its wheels inside, leading to flat spots and sag.
Plus the risk you mentioned earlier.
Exactly. The potential for leaking oil or grease inside the box, destroying the very cardboard, manual, and decals that make the packaging so precious. It's a hidden danger.
So what's the advice there?
Treat the model and its original box as two separate artifacts. Store the built model correctly on a stand, and preserve the empty box separately, perhaps flat-packed or carefully stored to avoid crushing.
Okay, separates the risks. Which brings us to the bottom of the hierarchy, the absolute no-go.
Simply putting the car on a shelf or the floor, resting directly on its wheels.
Just sitting there.
Just sitting there. That guarantees damage over time. You will get tire flat spots. You will get suspension sag. No question.
So the main takeaway, the core principle for storage, seems pretty clear then.
Absolutely. Always, always support the vehicle by its chassis for long-term storage. Never let it rest on its wheels. That's the fundamental rule.
Support the chassis, not the wheels. Got it.
And, if we sort of zoom out for a second, this level of care, it's not just about stopping plastic from yellowing or tires from flattening.
What is it about then?
It's really about honoring the history, isn't it? The craftsmanship that went into these Tamiya models. Taking this kind of care, this meticulous approach, what does that really say about how much we value these objects, these pieces of hobby history, and the stories they carry with them? It's a deeper appreciation, I think.